Good evening. Very good evening to you. How are you doing today? I'm trusting you had a great start to the week. Today being Monday, you're welcome to the Mindset Show with Tony Williams. I'm your host, Tony Williams, and I'll be anchoring the show for the best part of 50 minutes today. You're welcome wherever you're joining us from, uh, be it online, social media, listening on any of our platforms, or perhaps even if you're going to be sort of listening to this at a later date. I want to say a very big welcome to all of you and welcome to Starr Radio. Well, um, again, I would like to use this opportunity to say I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Today is Monday, the 26th day of November 2018, and to neither mine or your amazement, it's like 4 weeks to Christmas, and that's actually mind-boggling. The fact that it's 4 weeks to Christmas 2018. It was only in retrospect, like 3 weeks ago, that we were doing Christmas 2017, and now we sleep and we wake up, and it's time to start being under all those Christmas present pressure again for 2018. Like, that's not sort of good enough. It's like 5 weeks to the end of the year 2018. It's mind-boggling, but nevertheless, we thank our creator, seize the opportunity to thank our creator for all his blessings. We're alive and living. If perchance by any reason you're listening to this program, that means you have ears that could hear. If you're watching online, you got eyes that could see. You know, you've got a smart device of some kind. So we thank God. You know, we're hearty, or healthy, I should say. And also, if it hasn't been the best year so far, or if everything hasn't fallen in pleasant places for you throughout the year of 2018, my prayers are that 2019, come what may, will be mine and yours best year yet. So I'll take that to welcome you once again to Starr Radio UK, where at this point in time we're listening to the Mindset Show with myself, Tony Williams. Seizing the opportunity to welcome all the listeners and all the viewers once again this Monday night. The Mindset Show is obviously a place where we learn to be the best versions of ourselves. What does that mean? That means that however we were yesterday, if there's room for improvement, we discuss how we could be a better version than what we were yesterday, not only to impact ourselves, but also to impact our loved ones, our family, our relationships, and humanity as a whole. So that's what we do here on the Mindset Show every Monday night on Starr Radio. And having said that, it is a show where it's quite interactive, so you could feel free to join the conversation at any time you feel the need on any of our social media platforms. We stream live on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Periscope, Twitter, and all the platforms with the handle at Starr Radio UK. Nevertheless, if I push a button in the middle of the show that sort of hits you or applies to you and you feel you want to correct me or you want to comment on whatever the discussion or topic of the day, or share your tips, your tricks, your views, please feel free to call in to the studio lines, and you could talk to me live and direct. The studio lines is 0208 133 2257. 0208 133 2258. That's 133 2257, 133 2258. Right. So all that being said, I think it'd be time to dive right into it. Tonight we want to be talking again in line with what we have been sort of talking about over the last sort of 5 to 6 weeks, in succession of how I've on sort of rolled them out on every Monday night. We've talked about evaluating ourselves. We've talked about being the best version of ourselves. We've talked about how to be decisive in different areas of our, quite a number of things that we've spoken about that lead into today's topic. Part of them was self-control, the psychology of winning, and a few more. So today, I felt like the best thing to talk about or to engage you guys, listeners out there about, is about that part of achievements that people tend to sort of call opportunities, or that part of achieving something where people tend to just literally call opportunities. Yeah, I repeated myself. I said that twice. Yeah. What people call opportunities. I felt the need to say or go against the status quo, I should say, where people say opportunity knocks on our doors, or opportunity come but once but twice. But I really feel like, and as many people would agree with me, that opportunity actually doesn't knock. It would never knock. You could wait from now to kingdom come. Opportunity would not knock, because you've got to be able to have a door for opportunity to knock on. So a knock, technically is a sound, and if we don't prepare ourselves to listen to the sound, we're not even going to know if it's knocking or not. So technically, that's where the show and the topic tonight would be sort of focusing on highlighting, or shining our torchlight on, we should say. So I actually think we create our own opportunities. If you think opportunity just comes by you just sitting there, and it would just drop on your lap, then you're waiting for what I could call a miracle, so to say, because it never actually really happens in that way. you know. And the reason I said that is that if we look at it practically, every single person could list a whole bunch of what they would call missed opportunities. Every single person could have a list of them, or if I say, all right, list everything what you think you've missed that you think is an opportunity. Everybody could. I mean, I right now I know things that I could call missed opportunities, but really, are they missed opportunities? And if they were missed opportunities, why is it that in retrospect or now looking back at it, I called it missed opportunities? Why is it that at that particular time, I didn't recognize it to be an opportunity? What was the reason why I didn't recognize it to be an opportunity? Why is it that it knocked and I didn't open the door to that opportunity, so to say? You know, so yeah, in that respect, I think, we really can't sit there and say opportunity knocks, because when you look at all your lists, no matter how many missed opportunities there are, it would be too many for you to think all these opportunities are knocking and you missed all of them. So if you list a whole bunch of missed opportunities, say 1 to 20, and that you're now looking at your list and you think, so what was it? Was it like sort of knocking very like faintly that you couldn't hear the knock, or did you have the music on and the knock on the door wasn't hard enough, or so there must be a reason why we're missing these opportunities, or why you can now turn around and say these are now missed opportunities. But the truth of the matter is, like, if that's not even bad enough, there's someone out there that those opportunities we missed, he discerned, he took on board, he welcomed, and he profited from it. So the question is, what is that person doing differently from me? How come he has the capacity to, gain or to see the opportunity, take it, work it, make it profitable for him, or use it to his advantage, and that same opportunity came knocking, as they say, on my door, but it was only maybe 2 years down the line that I now realize I've missed this opportunity. No, so for me, that's something that I start to question myself about. Like, so what exactly is the issue here? What is it that I'm doing wrong? Or is my awareness, my sensitivity, is my antennas not receptive enough to my environment, or is my brain not sort of how do they say, like, not soaking in the or fine tuning people I come across, or contacts that I come, or business opportunities that, or because the truth of the matter is, a lot of us, when we say opportunities, or missed opportunities, we tend to relate it really to financial, work, career. But for me, I think the word opportunity spreads more than that. We have opportunities to be better fathers. We have opportunities to be better husbands. We have opportunities to quell our anger. We have opportunities to not abuse ourselves, to not abuse our health, to not overdrink, to not oversmoke, to not overparty. We have opportunities to control our anger. I think I said that before. Or we have opportunities, not to just be miscreants. We have all these opportunities. And these opportunities that we miss, someone else put in the same position, actually put in worst position than us, sees these opportunities, discerns them, takes them on board, and use it to the advancement of his own sort of purpose, or living his life in a purposeful manner. So therefore, it's not a case where it's knocking on one person's door and it's knocking on one person's and it's not knocking on one person's door, I beg your pardon. It's a case where we, being the common denominator, or the only valuable what's it called, the only valuable person in this case, there's something we're doing that is not right, where that thing would come, or we would be in an environment where that opportunity is there, and we would make the choice to do different. So that's what we want to try and talk about today. That's what we want to try and address today on the show. Please feel free to join in anytime on Facebook, call into the studios of Star Radio UK, and let's tear this issue of missed opportunities all apart. So, if I'm going to give today's topic any sort of title at all, I'll title it Seizing Opportunities. So yes, a lot of people just want to call it missed opportunities, but I want to look in a negative, in a positive light, and talk about seizing our opportunities. I want to look at how we recognize it, how we prepare for it, how not to miss opportunities, how to capitalize on opportunities, how to make your own opportunity, which is the long and short of what the word opportunity is. You create your own opportunity, by looking at the environment that you're in, looking at the shortfalls, looking at the gaps, and you realize it, discern it, and you start moving and working towards it. You walk towards it with confidence and the right mental attitude, and then you start to create your own opportunity. And yeah, that's what we want to look at. And as I said, opportunity, as I know, it never knocks. You could wait for it till kingdom come, you wouldn't hear no knock, because the truth is, opportunity is it's derived from your thoughts and your imaginations, what you perceive. There's no big sound to opportunity. It's what you wake up and think of in your head, in your brain. Your imaginations, I tend to have twist tongues, how you visualize things. That's what creates your opportunity. Because you could go into a marketplace and see a gap. That gap is not going to beat no drums. Here's a gap. You're going to go in as maybe an entrepreneur, an investor. You're going to go in wearing your creative cap, and you're going to see a gap in this market, and you're going to say, here is an opportunity. And the minute you say here is an opportunity, as a creator or an innovator, you're going to go back to your drawing board. You're going to try and research that opportunity. You're going to do all the right prepping that you need to do, and you're going to start building tools that would advance you slowly but steadily towards the desired goal that you want from that marketplace. And that's how you create opportunities. So it's not going to come to you whilst you're just there observing and waiting for a sound on the knock on the door of your heart. No, you've got to imagine it, you've got to see it, you've got to visualize it, you've got to be able to recognize that this is what you're capable of doing with confidence to change this situation, to bridge the gap in this market, to bridge the gap in this workplace, or to avoid yourself from unpleasant situations in terms of putting yourself under control in aspects of opportunities that arise where you could just lose control and get angry. Look, I'm saying this because it's strange, because a few weeks ago I went into a shop and someone treated me with so much disdain in the shop. And the truth is, I had just come from the gym and I felt I needed to lift some weights on this guy in here. But, at the same time, there was some guy beside me who realized what the situation was, and he just kept saying, just calm down, just calm. But, I was so right in my argument was so justified, and my anger within reason was so justified that if I decided to follow it up with, what was, coming out of what my belly wanted to come out of me, if I decided to follow it up with that, it's wrong. But then to yourself, it would be like, yeah, at least I unleashed them. But the truth of the matter is, I had the opportunity to make a choice whether to violate the law and assault someone, or to just simmer my ego down, simmer my anger down, and just walk away from the situation. And ultimately, that's what I did. And after I'd walked away from the situation, even the next day, I went to the shop and said, "Look, even though I think you're wrong, but I still apologize for raising my voice at you." And that's I had the opportunity to not to go, but I chose to. And that's the level and the expanse of what opportunity is that we're talking about. So we're not just talking about it in terms of work, life, and career goals. So I'll say opportunity is very much wider than uh, those things I've mentioned. As I said, you could get it in relationship, you could get it in habitual patterns, character traits, even in creating your own a better self. Which was what I did on the. I at least elevated my level of consciousness one step forward by not going with what I thought was just right, but was actually wrong. I thought about what I was thinking about, and I made the right choice after thinking about what I was thinking about. And then ultimately, as much as we have the opportunity in relationship, habitual patterns, character traits, or the opportunities to sometimes just keep quiet, we have that opportunity to the right of the God-given life that we have, and that's the right to live a purposeful life. And to live a purposeful life, we have to do that by supporting ourselves and not by undermining ourselves in any area that we find ourselves in. We have to lift ourselves up. We don't have to wait for other people to come and lift us up, so to say. We have to know that the responsibility and the onus is on us to ensure that we live a purposeful and fulfilling life. You know, and there's no way we could do that unless we realize that in certain areas of our life, there will be opportunities for us to live differently. There will be opportunities for us to make decisions that would ultimately distress the program of a purposeful life in our life. But looking at all the circumstances and situations that surround us in that respective matter or case, we then, you know, choose the right decision to make. Hopefully, choose the right decision to make, based on what we think are moral values at the present time. So we're talking about opportunities today, seizing our opportunities on Starr Radio. Just in case you are just joining us, we're talking about how not to miss our opportunities. We're talking about how to prepare for our opportunities. We're talking about how to capitalize on our opportunities. We're actually talking about the fact that opportunity doesn't knock on nobody's doors. We've got to go out there and create that opportunity for ourselves as best as we can when we can. And we are talking about the fact that as human beings in general, even as minorities, we have the God-given right to live, or the opportunity of a God-given right to live a purposeful and fulfilling life. Right. So if you do want to join in the conversation, feel free. You could message us on Facebook or on any of our social media handles at Starr Radio UK, or call into the studio lines 0208 133 2257, 0208 133 2258. You know, it's funny, my pastor used to say, like, opportunity is for the highest, like heaven is for the highest bidder. And the truth is, opportunity itself it is for the higher speeder. When an opportunity comes your way, if you don't take it, somebody else, they will take that opportunity straight away, and you will sit there a few months, a few years down the line, and you will realize that this thing this person has achieved, you have the same opportunity to do exactly the same thing, or you had the same inkling to do exactly the same thing that he did, but the fact is, you did not take heed. You let it come in, you let it, roll around the sort of uh, uh, thought process of your mind, and you just released it to go away. And then somebody else took that and ran with it, and has turned out to be something better. Um, so yeah, opportunity is for the highest bidder, because if you don't bid for it, somebody else will bid for it, and somebody else will take it and run with it. Uh, so it's quite important to prepare ourselves. Um, just as I would think you would prepare a child to improve himself as he grows to the stages of life. We've got to prepare ourselves, regularly for what we think are opportunities that would come. And if and preparing ourselves means we prepare ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally. We prepare ourselves by living in the now, by being very aware of ourselves, by knowing our strengths, by knowing our weaknesses, by knowing things we ought to do at specific times, and things we're not ought to, we do not, we are not supposed to do at specific times. And through that, we'll be able, when we even smell the hint of things that sound like opportunity, to deal with it appropriately and move forward. you know and we shouldn't ever think that opportunities, or what you call opportunities, are for someone else. As I said, these things, they're for the highest bidder. It's like an auction. Everybody has these lines of thought, because, as I said, that example that I made of someone going into a marketplace, someone would go into a marketplace and 10 people will see the same opportunity, but the truth is, only a few people out of those 10, maybe only a couple, would see it, go back, work on it, and actually actualize those opportunities and turn them into profits, or turn them into something that makes them more more of a better individual in any sort of way. I read about a study of a research that was done on sort of like 400 celebrities, right? Regardless of what field they're in, musicians, actresses, talk show hosts, actors, just celebrities, sportsmen and women. And it was strange that that study showed that a third of most of those celebrities that we now call celebrities had to, at one stage or another, fight and or suffer some form of adversity in life to get to where they went. So, or over suffer it, or either overcome it. So some of them went through maybe child abuse. Some of them went through physical handicaps. Someone like, I mean, we now know he's like a sort of incarcerated at the moment, but someone like Oscar Pistorius, you know, look at the adversity he went through. He had both of his legs amputated when he was a child, but then still came up to be a gold medalist, if I'm correct, in a 100 meters race. Somewhere along, yes, we are, unfortunately, the circumstances that surrounded him now while he's incarcerated. But the point is, I'm trying to make is the how he prepped himself to not let his current situation debar him from experiencing or debar him from using the opportunity that was put at his disposal. Because I'm sure when someone came to him and said, look, we could put this prosthetic legs on you and you could run 100 meters or blah blah blah, yes, he might have thought, this sounds really good, but then he could have thought, nah, I can't go and why would I go and race amongst able-bodied people? Why would I turn around and, in a crowd of 40,000, be the only one who's using prosthetic legs? Or, I don't want to do that. My ego, I'm going to be ashamed. No, but he, in spite of all of that, he took it on board, and he went out there, faced his fears, faced the challenge, and he actually became someone who achieved, to a very high level at the top of his sports, which obviously gave him that celebrity status. And that's what I was saying, like, and there are loads of celebrities like that. You could look at Oprah Winfrey, you could look at who else? Well, I remember Oprah Winfrey, and then Nelson Mandela, a whole bunch of them who would go through some sort of adversity, and rather than let that be something that limits them, they use that as an opportunity to propel themselves into greater heights and use themselves in a better way for humanities. So yes, these people, they didn't wait for opportunities to come and knock on them. They saw the opportunity, they visualized it, and they worked towards it and moved towards it. And that opportunity, after they got there, now opened doors for them to become the best at their field and world renowned. So it's funny how time goes, but let's look quickly at how we move towards opportunity. And I've sort of just scribbled a few things down, maybe 5 of them, time permitting. I'll try and address them as fast as I could. How do we sort of move towards our opportunities? I put down one: we've got to keep an eye on the red light, and I actually got that from a book, University of Success. You keep an eye on the red light, and it's not the red light on the road, but we could use the red light on the road as an analogy. You have the red, the amber, and the green, but the red signifies stop. So the red light I'm talking about is not the physical traffic light, but it's the red light in our mind. The red light that when two things come in, and one thought or a stream of thought comes into our mind, and we are all excited, and we're all geared up that, yes, I'm going to go after this, we could do this, I could get this sorted, I'm going to make this happen. And then all of a sudden, a red light just pops up, and you just stop and you freeze and you don't move no more. Not move as in physically moving, but move towards that excitement of thoughts that you had. Move towards that visualization. Move towards that imagination that you had no more. You're now just sort of paralyzed in your thoughts because of one obstacle, forgetting that though you have this one obstacle that's turned to a big red light in your imagination or in your mental faculty, there were so many green lights that led up to that one red light. And yes, you have the right to stop at that red light, but then you should learn to turn yourself back on. You should learn that that red light has an amber, and then it has a green. And then when you acknowledge that you are at just a red light signal, then acknowledge that you should put yourself in an amber and a green. So yeah, we need to learn to watch out for the red light signal, learn to turn ourselves back on to green, and keep moving ahead towards our goals. Ask yourself realistic questions, even when you're at this red light. Okay, I'm stopping here. Am I stopping here because yes, I am meant to stop and think, but then am I meant to stop and abandon, stop and park, stop and recline my chair and sleep, in the middle of the road where I ought to be moving on. So ask yourself realistic questions. Why am I actually stopping at this red light at the moment? Also, don't worry about things that you can't change. I know so many people. I have a friend that every time I talk to, if we're trying to move forward, he will say one common phrase. This is the reason why I don't. Who cares about that reason? Nobody cares about that reason because, frankly, there's nothing we could do about that reason. There's nothing. I said this. So what if he said it? Take a badge, take a stripe. It doesn't make no difference. We're trying to create constructive ways forward. Whatever you said in the past, yes, it might haunt people in the future, but that doesn't mean it limits people from moving forward in the future. That doesn't mean because you said it and you're justified wrong, there's no way out. What you said and people didn't adhere to, or people didn't, act upon, yes, they were wrong and you were right, but now let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's use that as a guy. Let's use that as something to now shape us in the right direction of where we're going. And it's just so jarring. He just keeps. I always, yes, you did. So don't worry about things of the past. If it's wrong, yes, accept it. Understand you failed and you're failing forward. Use it as a sort of a steering pole to steer you or paddle to steer you or to roll you in the right direction. As I said earlier, I did mention that when you stop, always remember to start. Stopping and starting is what makes a car move forwards. A car would get to some place and it would stop, but when you kick it, that's Nigeria. When you turn the ignition, when you turn the ignition, the car automatically begins to move a little bit forward as well, or moves forward as you drive it forward. Yes. Then formulate your goals. Envisage them, and move towards them. Again, in the car analogy, you have a destination, move towards your destination. Like, just keep moving towards your destination. Understand, yes, you are going to have the stopping points there, but if you abandon moving forward at every destination, at every stop point you get to, you miss the opportunity of getting to your destination. As a matter of fact, you will never get to that destination. So yes, let's keep moving towards our opportunity. Live in the present. Again, it relates to what I just said. The past is gone. The future is unknown. The present is the only thing that is real. You could sit down here. Yesterday, a post came of one of our friends who was saying, "Oh, someone sent me a message. Not me. Sent him a message at 9 a.m. But before 5 a.m. That person has unfortunately sort of, gone to be with the Lord, or passed away." And it's mind-boggling, but that's the truth of the matter. That same person that passed away, that sent a message in the morning and passed away sometime in the afternoon or evening, he had plans for the evening, he had plans for the following day, he had plans for a week. He might have had dinner appointments, might have had work appointments, he might have had family commitments, or booked his calendar outlined like normal people should do for the rest of the year. He might have even been doing Christmas shopping. But look, the truth is, the past is gone. The future for all of us is unknown. We just strive to be the best as we could. We don't know if we're going to live into our best. We have faith that we would live into our best, but we can't guarantee it. The only thing that we can control is every moment that you live right now, and opportunities that we have to seize. They're now. They're not in the future. They're not gone. They're not past. they're real and real now. I'll say deal with your ego. In order to seize opportunities, you have to let go of your ego. You know, they say you stoop to conquer. I said this thing here last week. Someone made a video of someone who bashed the car, and the lady said, "Why did you bash my car?" And the guy said, "Well, but I did say sorry to you." But he was saying sorry shouting. And the lady said, "So what? You bashed my car and you're saying sorry, but yet you're shouting that you said sorry." And the guy turned around and said to the lady, "Do you know the price of sorry in this country?" You know, like, what price does sorry have? I think that's just an egotistic statement to make, you know, and there's no way you are going to get anywhere, you know, if you don't take that chip off your shoulder thinking you're special than anybody else. Yeah, individually, we're special in our own right, but it doesn't mean we're special than anybody else, you know, because the same blood that flows through each and everybody's system is the same. You know, we're all equal in the sight of our creator. Yes, he has his beloved, but we're all equal in the sight of our creator. You know, forget about tomorrow's type thinking. So again, the future is unknown. Don't always say leave well, you know, you call it procrastination in in advance. You're always saying tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I haven't got time today, or well, if I miss it today, what happen tomorrow? Or, you know, they say never leave what you could do today till tomorrow, because you know what, tomorrow it might never come. So, you know, just deal with it now. Like, this is the whole idea of living in the now. There's a good book by Edgar Tolle, I think, the power of now. Yeah, you know, if you feel like everybody could go and read that book, it's a short read, but it's very powerful. It tells you how you can sort of be living in the present moment, you know, be aware of the present moment, be conscious, living in the consciousness of your present moment, and always making the right decisions off of that back. You know, stop belittling yourself. Don't, you know, don't undermine yourself. You've got the right to life. You've got the right to every other opportunity, every other human being. As a matter of fact, you've got the right to that 24 hours that everybody else has. So yes, you know, you're not a minority. You're not uh you're not belittle. You shouldn't belittle yourself. You shouldn't undermine yourself. You shouldn't think you're less privileged. You shouldn't think your past is a barrier for your future. You shouldn't put yourself in a box of limitation. You know, you should be confident. You should be strong. You should be decisive. You should make decisions off, you know, the confidence that's oozing of yourself, knowing, you know, the capabilities that you have as an individual, and more. You know, set constructive goals. You know, set constructive goals. You know, don't just uh set goals that, whilst you're trying to achieve, you know, you're putting everybody else down along the line. You know, do things quietly, you know, modestly, and most of all constructively. Don't make it seem like, you know, every time don't make it seem like every time you know, you're about to do something, you know, the whole world has to feel under yeah, the whole world has to feel under pressure just because you're out there and you want to put something out there. You know, let your goals be more constructive. Let them be purposeful. Let them be constructive, and let them not put anybody else under pressure. Don't let them personally. Don't let people feel you're climbing on top of them just so you could get on top, you know, to the next stage or the next step of the ladder that you want to get to. And then probably I'll have to say finally, like, stand up to the crisis. You know, stay calm. Don't be afraid. Be confident. You know, fight your turn. Fight, you know, whatever turn that is dealt for you. Fight it. Take hold of it. You know, exercise yourself. Exercise your brain. Gain knowledge. Gain wisdom. You know, and practicalize it. You know, as they say, you cannot, you can't physically You could be knowledgeable of somebody else's knowledge, but you can't have wisdom of somebody else's wisdom. The only way you get wisdom is by practicalizing the knowledge you get of somebody else's and using it for your own experiences and making it work for you. You know. In conclusion, I'll say, in terms of seizing all these opportunities and how to seize opportunities, hold your past success, hold it as like a breastplate, like, because like your past success, every achievement that you had in the past, just hold it as your breast, as a breastplate. Use that to forge yourself into the future. When the negative thoughts come, when undermining thoughts come, when thoughts that are I can't do it come, just look back at your trophy cabinet of your success yourself and say, look, well, you're wrong, because all these things I've achieved before and I could achieve again. Yeah, and whilst I achieved them, yes, I had to face obstacles, I had to face issues, I had to face little challenges, but I still overcame to the best of my ability. And on this one, I will do so again. So that's basically what I think, we need to do in terms of seizing opportunities. And then I could guarantee you, once you start programming in your mindset in that way or that manner or that fashion, you realize that you're able to walk into all the doors of self-created opportunities yourself, and you physically won't have to wait or sit there for any other opportunity to come your way. Keep the faith, be calm and be courageous. Like yourself, love yourself, befriend yourself, accept yourself for who you are. Some of the greatest opportunities, as they say, it gains momentum from our thoughts, and I think I mentioned that before. Right from the inner parts of our mind, that's where they start growing. That's where they start. I shouldn't even say gain momentum. The seed grows from those thoughts. So you have to know how to nurture those thoughts appropriately when they come. Like, welcome them. Start pouring water on them. If you pour a seed into the ground, you don't water it, that seed will never germinate. If a seed even germinates and you don't continue to water it, that plant would eventually die. If it doesn't have sun and all the natural resources that it needs to, or if it's not even planted on the right soil of your mind, it will die. So you need to be aware that you always prepare your mind and the soil of your mind to accept and to see, the seeds that you're planting in it, so that it could germinate and become fruitful in every area. So in time to go, I'll just say this, like, sometime along the line, we all have to compromise or surrender, but by surrendering, we must win. And we mustn't surrender to compromise nor resentment, but we must surrender to courage, not cowardice. We must surrender to our assets, not our liability. And we must create self opportunities which will enrich us, and not wait for those that will knock on our door. That's all it is from me today on the Mindset Show. I hope, in a way, I was able to address or shift your mindset in terms of how you action opportunities that come your way and how you create them yourself. Grab hold of them at every single time. And until we speak again next week, same place, same time, I wish you a fantastic week ahead. From my humble self, Tony Williams on the Mindset Show.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Good night and God bless.